Hello, this is Dashta. This is the second part of my journey to knowing. For first few months of my transition, I was just observing and experiencing the changes. But these changes that was happening in me, it became more, in a simple language, very strange and unknown to me. Because every month it was like me being replaced by another person within me. My behavior would change, the way I would act, the way I would eat, everything just changed in me. At the beginning, I thought that these changes are due to the knowing, and I thought that everyone else is going through the same thing. Therefore, I did not pay attention as much to it. The strangest thing was this, that around the 22nd of every month, I would change or act differently from who I was. My eating habit would change, my temperament would change, the sensitivity, the feeling, and talking, everything in me would change. During these changes, I noticed that some people would want to speak with me or heard about the changes that has happened to me, and they were interested to come and talk to me. And I would sit with them. For some reason, every time I sat with the person, I have already known everything about them. The pain, the suffering, the anger, frustration, the fear that they had. I would feel those things. I knew everything about it because prior to seeing them, I already went through the same feeling that they were having at the time of our meeting. It was then that I realized that every time that I was supposed to meet someone, I would become that person, feel, act, think like them. It was very strange and it was painful, and I had to learn how to cope with that. I'm not saying that this would happen to everyone else that may go or may not go through this. But this is my story. This is what happened to me. And it made it much easier for me to help the person because I could pinpoint where the pain is and what has caused the pain. One of the story that I have, I helped a lady. She came to our place a few times, and she was starting to find herself. Just to let you know that I was doing all these things for free. It was not for money, because I did not see myself qualified to get money from anybody, because who am I? I had no experience. before, even though I was life coach, but that was before I had some ego left in me and I thought I am somebody, and this somebody has the power or right to tell other person to do things. But here I was different person. My ego started vanishing. It was not interested in becoming somebody. Apparently that lady talked to one of her friends, which she is a professor teaching in university somewhere in Montreal, and she wanted to come and check me out to see if I am that I'm not crook, right? To make it simple, and if I am qualified to even do something like that. Before that, again, I felt something changing in me. I was going through certain pain. I had so much pressure on my chest. I had desire to write, but I could not. Something prevent me from writing. I felt all those pain. And when we had our meeting in evening, sometime I don't remember what day it was. I think I usually had my meetings Thursdays, and she was sitting across from me. I turned around and I said, I know that you're here to observe our conversation with your friend, but let me tell you that I sense these things in you. And I start saying things that it felt strange for her, for someone that has absolutely never met her, to know about. And we talked a little bit about this subject, and she said, can I come alone next week? She came the following week. We talked, and I start telling her that what she's going through is causing this, and let's go back to her childhood. And we went to her childhood, and we find a thing that she was in pain about. And then she said that she was so much in pain that she had her ticket to India to go to one of the satsang, and she was planning to stay in India for about 3 to 6 months. She was there before, and she thought that she got the help that she wanted, and she didn't get the result that she desired. And after a few sessions, she was okay. She actually is a writer. She has written about 5 books, different subjects, mostly related to psychology and dream. And when she came, she said she has very difficult time to write, and writing is her passion, and without writing she feels that she's trapped and she is not herself and feeling useful. After a month of our last conversation, I saw her. Actually, she invited us to her place, and I went with Audrey, my wife, and she was very grateful for what I did for her. It was a chance for me to explain to her that I'm because I was just myself now as a person that I am. My name is Faro, Faro, and I explained to her that it's nothing to do with me, because I don't have the knowledge, and this is not my field. My field is something mostly electrical, and I work in utilities, and I have no knowledge about this subject. But since the changes that has happened to me, I am starting to sense people more than usual. And she asked me a few questions, and I did answer. And she said that if she can speak to Ashta, which is the name that I have chosen for the knowing. The way I came with the name was the first two initial of my kid's name. I have my oldest son Dariush, and my son, my second boy, is Shaya, and my daughter Tara, which is Dashta. And the reason I chose that name, it was because my kids are everything to me. And to be something that is in a way a spiritual name and something that is meaningful, are rather to be their initial. And that name has been part of my life for past 11 years. And every time that I call myself Dashta, it's something that reminds me of how great my kids are and how much I love them. Long time, every month, I think for about 7 or 8 years, every month I changed. Every month I became someone else. I have no idea how much suffering Audrey went through, because I know it was not easy for her. It's not something that I wish for anyone to go through. And if it was someone else beside me, I do not think that they would have the strength or stamina to go through this transition. And I have not heard any story from anyone else to see if they have gone. I know that Krishnamurti went through not similar experience that I have, but he went through the pain and suffering, and he wrote everything in his diary. I did not write anything in my diary, or I didn't create anything, and I didn't need to do that because it went on for forever. Every month, imagine going for 8 years. It would have been 20 books that I could take note of and write about. The other thing that was happening, I start getting more people coming to me so I can teach and talk about the changes that was happening in me. Most of the talk that I was having, the normal people, the people, when I say normal, is the people that did not have or read about spirituality, about awakening or knowing. What I was talking about, it was kind of difficult for them. Therefore, more advanced people start coming to me and wanted to learn about me, and at the same time try to find a way to us to get together and start building satsang, or having a large meeting in our property and monetize the whole experience. Something within me, which that thing that I say within me, I call it dashta. It would not allow me to do something like that. I didn't even feel like talking to more than one or two people. My teaching mostly was one to one. I wanted to teach people one to one because I have already gone through the experience of how they feel a month before. But I never felt the feeling of masses. It was too much. I felt always uncomfortable being around many people. I think that is why eventually after 11 years, I have decided to use YouTube as a way of me to communicate, because in reality, YouTube is one to one, it's face to face conversation. I am not talking for so many people, but in a few minutes, I'm just with you. I'm talking to you. I'm listening to you and I'm feeling how you feel. Eventually, we get to that later days. And you can ask me question or tell me how you feel, and maybe we can talk about it. But here, I'm not here to promoting the channel. For some reason, I don't like promoting something that people are not interested to listen to. I'm not here to force you to listen to this story. It is a strange story. If I were you, like the same shoe that you are in, like before this happened to me, maybe I would do the same thing, exactly the same thing that you are doing, and show no interest and turn the TV off and walk away. But here I am talking to those that are interested, those that I can feel the pain and the suffering, the anger, the anxiety, and the dream and hopes. I feel these talks are for those people. Something else that I learned is to every month I learned to peel something that was not me away from me. It's like peeling an onion. You take the onion and start peeling the first layer, second, third, and so on. And that's what I start doing. I started to eliminate things that was not me. The reason I'm saying this is I noticed for a while that I am not, when I grooming myself, I used to do that all the time, but when I was brushing my hair or shaving my face, I actually looked into the mirror and look at myself. But now, ever since, I don't do that anymore. I feel a stranger within this physical body. I do not know who I used to be. And I'm going to leave this conversation at this point. I do not know who I used to be. Thank you for being here and listening to me. If you have any question, please ask and leave it in the comments. Hopefully, I can answer your question. Thank you.